Have you ever wanted to play a game that makes you feel like a main character in a slice of life anime? I got you. Star Sand Island is like if My Time at Sandrock, Coral Island, Genshin Impact, and Animal Crossing had a giant crossover episode. And I'm really excited to share that after seeing news about the beta test of Sandstar Island from fellow creators, I did something scary. This game sparked such a genuine interest and passion in me I simply could not ignore. So, despite social anxiety and reaching out to someone via Discord DM, I got past it and got a very kind message and beta testing key from a very kind person from Seed Lab named Rory. Thanks, Rory. Just a few quick notes for full transparency here. I reached out because I only want to cover and make videos about games I'm genuinely passionate about. And it's also worth mentioning that this is a closed beta test with temporary art assets and limited content, but I'm already really excited about where this is heading. Now let's dive into the 7 most important qualities I look for in games of this genre to answer, is Star Sand Island cooking, and should we support its development? First off, what makes it stand out? I have wanted to see an anime-inspired slice of life farm and dating sim for so long. So naturally, I'm going to say everything stands out to me, but here's the first few that come to mind. You can befriend and adopt so many cute animals like cats, dogs, squirrels, a capybara, and even little magical creatures beyond what we're seeing in this current version. There's other details that make this game feel relevant and modern, like the introduction of skateboards, e-bikes, and even a car to get around, as well as texting. Some games are so formal with letters, and that's cool, but baby, it's 2025 and we're farming. The cool thing about texting is that you can send anyone a cute little head bonk and they'll text you back, and you gain friendship points. Coming from an angle where I'm highly focused on the social aspects of a game, this is huge, especially if you're trying to romance people but don't want to break from the minds, so you can just send a text and get easy friendship points. Beyond what I was able to play in beta, there's e-bikes you can purchase, and it sounds like there also might be animal companions you can ride like cows, sheep, and pigs. This will be a huge help because when you look at the map in beta, there seems to be a lot of promising expansions to the world that we'll see in future versions of the game. Something that really stood out to me on their Kickstarter is the devs' vision and inspiration to create a giant floating water park. This is more linked to their Kickstarter goals than the core project itself and what we're seeing in beta. I'll link this in the description so you can learn more about it. Overall, this just sounds very relaxing, and again, a modern feature I think sets this game apart from the rest. Plus, how cute would it be to go on dates at an amusement park floating on the freaking water? Let's actually talk about romance, which this game will include. The Kickstarter shows 6 core romanceable characters, which include 4 females and 2 males. Now, don't let this scare you. This is because the current version we're seeing has reached a higher level of completion with more designs and stories for additional characters in the works. From some of the posts on Discord, it sounds like there will be 8 or so more, with the balance between both male and female character options that you can romance. In the version I'm playing, there looks like there will be more, and definitely a lot of buildings in town to fill in those spaces with pretty romanceable NPCs. So far, I'm already getting personality traits from certain characters that I'm already gravitating towards. Right now, I'm leaning towards Neoma, Dolphin, and this redheaded guy. Neoma has this really cool aura about her, dressing pretty feminine and running a motorcycle shop. She is giving me Winry Rockbell energy, but with flirty dialogue that teases you. And then there's Dolphin, who's the childhood best friend who returns to Sandstar a little bit before you and is super big into aquariums and gives you this really nice cozy dialogue and tips like, you should bring a radio to this fishing spot. And not to mention the text messages you can get out of the blue from some characters, which ties back to that texting mechanic that I love. Personally, this brings a bit more life to the characters in the world, and I'd love to see the devs hone in on this feature more. Like, what if we could write responses, even if they're pre-generated? Think Mystic Messenger, where a character sends text based on story options you chose, or depending on how far you are into romancing them. I just think that would be super cute. There's also 2 more things that I think are worth mentioning here. The first is that the dialogue feels authentic so far, in the sense that I gave Delphin a gift he really liked, and later he talked about it again. But it wasn't too on the nose or like a hint that was in your face. It was just like a, hey, by the way, thanks, I really appreciate this. I also got a gift hint a few other times, and they felt like they were a really natural part of the conversation. So again, I'm really keeping my eye on these features and how they continue to develop. I also think it's worth mentioning that this game aspires to have voice acting included, which would really add to the immersion and help give you a better feel for each of these characters. Next up is talking about the professions and the gameplay synergy. There are 5 different professions you can choose from: farming, ranching, fishing, crafting, and adventuring. What's really cool is how you can focus on what you enjoy. For me, I ended up gravitating towards fishing and crafting. Crafting feels closely linked to the mines, gathering resources from the world, and building things so you can craft even more things like decorations for your house. You'll need to craft basic things like a furnace, a smelter, and wooden storage boxes to keep your things, but from there, the world is yours to create and build. And fishing, I know it's kind of crazy. I never like fishing in any games of this genre unless I absolutely have to or if it's profitable. In Star Sand Island, I do feel there's a natural flow to the mechanic where it's not too difficult, but at the same time doesn't feel mindless, where you just click a button and boom, you got a fish. It just felt very natural, intuitive, and relaxing, and actually made me want to fish. And the cool part about fishing is that you can build a little aquarium to decorate. This game is just so focused on nice little slice of life details that I just appreciate so much. And of course, there's farming and ranching. I didn't dive into this too much, but you can grow giant crops that can be used for special materials later. And then later, when I discovered the adventure profession, I learned that you can actually catch wild rabbits and chickens and either sell them or raise them. It also might be worth mentioning that we'll see even more animal breeds in the future, and some of these animals can give us special interactions or help us with farm tasks. This flexibility, combined with the relationship systems and various areas to explore, means that there are many different ways to experience the game. Next up is progression and pacing. Sandstar Island definitely feels like a slice of life anime and encourages you to take your time. Each day I found lasted anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes. I felt the timing and pace in this game balanced out really nicely when you consider the amount of things to do, the map size, and your energy. For example, there's a ton of different resources you can collect from all over the map. Some will require stamina, like chopping down trees or mining ores. But you can also find little branches around and little ore nuggets that you can just pick up without using that stamina. So there was many times I was like, girl, you got energy and it's 10 p.m. Maybe let's chop some wood just so we have it in the future. Even considering the map size, I never felt like I had to rush to get home, and I never passed out. I felt I had plenty of time to take in and enjoy the world, think of all the things I could do in a day or wanted to do, and set my pace from there. And then I found myself saying, just one more day. Next up is the immersion and world feel. This is just so important to me, and there is so much I can say on these points. Let me break it down from a large to smaller scale from my experience. Overall, in terms of art style, it's gorgeous. The assets are consistent and uniform, like everything is meant to be there. Everything is to scale and feels authentic to the world. Putting it this way, nothing feels hollow. The animations mimic the behaviors from animals we typically see, like when cats stand on their hind legs like a little meerkat, squirrels nibbling on berries, birds and wild animals scattering if you get too close. Here's a few other details I really appreciated. The anime style food. You can swing on the swing. No, it's not a preset animation. You are actually controlling the swing's movement. And I really wanted to see if I could spin it all the way around, as you can see in this clip. You can take pictures and even create your own totally not creepy senpai shrine in your house. You can open your windows, which makes the world feel fresh and not like you're boxed into your tiny little cottage. When you go to bed, you have this animation where it feels like you're closing your eyes, and then when you wake up, you get the animation of opening them again. You can make a radio and turn it on. And for my fellow audio nerds here, here's a few highlights. If you're listening in stereo or with headphones on, the sounds are just chef's kiss. Now, let me show you a few of my favorite moments and highlights.
拜托了，厨房，星沙岛电视台特别节目。
Literally obsessed with this radio, and I hope in future versions it can be less of a decoration and more of something we can bring with us everywhere and interact with, maybe change the music. There is also encouragement to fully immerse yourself in the game with the inclusion of camps you can unlock in the mines. For my fellow mine dwellers out there, this means you don't have to go all the way back home to sleep and craft. If you want to be a hermit and live in the mines for a few days, you can totally do that. These are just a few details of many that make me feel like I'm the main character living in a slice of life anime, and I am so here for it. Next up is customization and decoration. Beyond what I was able to play, it looks like there's opportunity to use the flowers and berries you find around the world to create dye for your clothing options, which I think is a really cool feature that ties the exploration and customization systems together. As for decorating your house, in the tutorial, there's a lot to look forward to, like even owning your own private island. So it sounds really nice that you get to expand and decorate in other areas of the world outside your farm. The farm decoration system lets you place fences, flower beds, and scarecrows, whatever, however you want. I do want to mention in terms of character customization that what we see here is part of a very early customization system that just focused on a few outfits. Beyond this, it sounds like they're going to expand with eyes, mouths, eyelashes, and skin tones, so we can roleplay diverse identities with customization options that support this. And finally, the replayability and long-term engagement. When choosing games to play, and especially to cover on this channel, I am extremely selective because I want to be mindful of my time as well as your own. That said, I only want to cover games I truly feel passionate about playing, talking about, and taking the time to put a video together. That said, I gravitate towards farming, life, and dating sims I can easily play and talk about for hundreds of hours. I gravitate towards unique ideas, aesthetics, and sound design I think are truly gorgeous, and games that have a strong gameplay loop and replayability factor. If you feel the same way, then please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because that means you, me, and the rest of this community here already have so much in common. That said, Star Sand Island looks extremely promising and is shaping up to being a game I could see myself playing for hundreds of hours. I genuinely feel like I could live in this world, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more on customization features, romanceable characters, unlocking more parts of this world, and of course, adopting all the cute animals. Is Star Sand Island cooking? Absolutely yes. This game has already captured my heart with its immersive world, interesting characters, and solid gameplay foundations. If you want to support this game, there's a few things you could do, only if you want to. Number 1 is wishlisting it on Steam. It's free to do, and it really does support the developers because it tells the algorithm that the game you wishlisted is really cool and boosts it on the platform. Number 2, you can follow news from fellow creators who are covering this game as well. Every creator is different and has different opinions and features that they focus on to help give you a more rounded view of if this game is for you or not. Plus, it helps indie games stand a chance against the big beast we like to call the YouTube algorithm. And number 3, of course, there's Kickstarter that's running until Saturday, May 31st. Before you back, I will say it's important to do all of your research beforehand. Check out news from the game's Discord server, the comments and FAQs on the Kickstarter campaign page, what others are saying in other communities and comment sections, and it's also especially important to note that nothing from a Kickstarter is guaranteed, so coming from a frugal friend, hi. Only support if you feel financially comfortable in doing so. I do feel this game looks very promising, and I think the devs seem genuinely interested in creating something special. How about you? What feature are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments below, and let's nerd out about it. If you're a big fan of cozy life and farm sims, please be sure to check out some of my other videos. From this playlist, you just might find your new favorite. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.